All right. Hello, everyone. We're back. This is Amin. We go back a long time. He's also one of these OGs from back when Bitcoin was like, and all the crypto stuff was really unpopular and only for crazy people. We have a lot of those people in the room here. I'm really looking forward to his talk, so big up for Amin.
Hi, welcome. I wanted to give you a basic understanding of what's going on in my mind, and then from there tell the story that I've come here to tell. I'm not sure about your experience. I guess if you've been involved for more than a year, please put your hand up so I understand. And if it's less than a year, and if you've never you come here to learn something new, then I guess I hope I can be a guide for you. It's been very interesting how the culture's changed. You know, recently I went through some of the old conversations that I had saved from Bitcoin Talk and other forums from other platforms. And for me, the most interesting part was, back then, if you came onto the forums and you spoke about money, you were ostracized. People told you, hey, I feel like you're only here to speak about money, please leave the community, or please, get a better understanding of what's going on. Now, to do that, you're the weird guy. So a lot has changed. So you can see when something becomes commercialized, whether it's blockchain, Bitcoin, your favorite type of music, the movie industry, even veganism, it becomes very corrupted, right? They lose the message. So why do we lose the message when something becomes commercialized and popular? I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out. So that's my Facebook group. If you want to ask questions, join it. I always post random things that I see, whether it's about peer-to-peer communities, whether it's about decentralized communities, the financial market, how Goldman Sachs destroyed the economy, and those kind of conversations. You can go there and enjoy the lovely chat. And I'm on Twitter as well, and that's my YouTube channel if you want to go and watch some of the videos I've done in the past and some of the podcasts. So, this for me is a very important question, which I think is very, very relevant today. And those of you that laugh, get it. You get why. Because everyone's gone blockchain crazy. It's blockchain this, blockchain that. And it's worrying because its applications are not as diverse as Globe wants us to kind of focus on. In a lot of cases, it's used as this PR stunt, right? Or people feel like, we should just put a blockchain on it, and then that way we get more investors on board, and the board of directors can feel like we're part of the innovative movement that's going on. So my understanding is that most people actually need a therapist than a blockchain, because they haven't really understood what's going on. And this may be offensive to some of you. Well, that's good. You should find out why it offends you. And if it doesn't, you understand it, then I guess we have some things in common. This was a report put out by Deloitte. Understanding of blockchain. 75% of executives are apparently experts on blockchain. I'm glad you get it. But it's worrying because people look at this and go, wow, people really get blockchain. They know what's going on. 75%. Look at them, they're all bloody experts. But this is the reality, right? Where people assume they're experts. So when the CEO comes and says, hey, blockchain, yeah, man, bloody top of my game. Let's do it. Let's implement it. What are we doing? Oil, gas, food? We got it. What's the most significant benefit of blockchain? Do you think this is right? Is it the speed? Were we lacking speed in our economy? I don't think it was speed, right? So this is what the executives think. This is what Deloitte puts out. Proudly, may I say. So they think it was about speed. We're lacking speed in our world. That's what blockchain came to do. Solve our latency problems.
Which executives?
Sorry?
Which executives?
Can you read
This
this?
is, yeah, you can't see it on the lighting. The most common answer when asked about blockchain advantages over existing systems was greater speed. This suggests companies are interested in leveraging blockchain real-time information exchange capabilities to speed up business processes and gain operational efficiencies. Additionally, 28% of respondents believe that blockchain can help them unlock new revenue sources and business models. That is the most honest part of that. So it's just a way of, getting more revenue. Underscoring the technology's disruptive potential, which was speed by their importance. So this is what's going on. I don't know if you can see this, but this is goat shit. So I think people are talking about blockchain, but all I see is goat shit. And that's the problem. I think 75% of executives know goat shit. I don't know if they know blockchain. Because if you understood blockchain, it's not that it's the speed that people are after. It's transparency. It's integrity within a system to be immutable. It's accessibility on any part of the world for someone to innovate without permission. These are very powerful things. And if you don't understand that, it's okay. Go and learn it. Go understand why blockchain is revolutionary. And educate yourself. But don't fill out a survey saying you're an expert if you don't get it. There's nothing wrong with not understanding. But there's a very huge thing wrong with pretending you understand and then sharing that information with others as though you understand. Because then it becomes the blind leading the blind. So, why goat shit? Let's cover it. We live in a world where when I speak, people are like, man, you're so radical. What's going on? Calm down. Are you an activist? That's the state of the world we're living in. That when the truth becomes radical. When I speak the truth, people say you're radical. That's how far away from truth we live. That when someone says it, people freak out. Like, whoa, this guy, he's got radical ideas. But they're not radical. It's just truth. 2008 caused a huge crisis in the world, right? When I speak about it, I'm radical for some reason. When JP Morgan talks about blockchain, that's cool. Goldman Sachs, that's cool. When I talk about how they destroy the world economy, I'm radical. So why? I was speaking to someone else in Amsterdam, and I said, a particular platform, I didn't appreciate that their marketing was very misleading. It was lying to me. It was generalizing blockchains. He said, well, who doesn't lie? What the fuck, right? Like, that's the norm of his psyche. That it's cool, man. We lie. This is how the world works now. It's not for me. It never has been. I've never accepted that to be my reality. But that's the reality it seems a lot of people want to accept. That is marketing, man. Marketing's lie. It's cool. I don't know. ETF. Do you understand what ETF is? Do you understand how absurd it is to use ETF and Bitcoin in the same sentence? Yeah?
What's ETF?
Bitcoin, ETF is when you turn Bitcoin, something that's decentralized peer-to-peer, into an IOU that an organization says, we'll look after it for you. Here's like a share of Bitcoin. You don't hold it, you don't own it, you just trade it. Go out there and do the same thing you did to the financial market to Bitcoins. Well, people get excited because they're like, big money's coming in. Wall Street is joining Bitcoin. It's going to be worth millions. So somewhere along the line, profit and principles went on two different paths. Where profit was a greater potential than principles and values. These are things to consider. Like people come, listen to these talks, and they go and be like, oh wow man, I really enjoyed your talk. But what have you done to implement it? Do you understand the ramifications of this? Do you guys understand that the world economy crashed in 2008 and not much has been changed since? Do you guys understand that the entire world economy functions on debt? Do you understand that blockchain's first application, which is Bitcoin, is one of the most significant things that has happened in thousands of years, when money is produced not by the state? And I don't think people get this because they keep talking about how blockchain is going to change the shoe industry. I don't give a fuck about the shoe industry. So then we have ICOs. Now people are like, tokens. Let's get that going. About these cool ideas. But they don't get it. You have peer-to-peer money, not issued by a state. I don't know how much I can say this. I've been saying this since 2013, and people still don't get it. People are like, oh, you just huddle, huddle. They don't even know where that comes from. It comes from Bitcoin Talk. Someone accidentally wrote it, just so you know. But then, if you get it, use it. Exit. I exited the financial system in 2013, and ever since then I've lived a very beautiful life, not because I made a lot of money, but because I feel good. I don't have to deal with a shitty financial system that functions on debt. I mean, it's not hard to understand. In 2008, 10 million people in America lost their home, and people want to tell me the Western societies are not corrupt. $16 trillion was pumped into the global economy after 2008 to recover it. And people want to tell me we need regulation from these same people for Bitcoin. We should go up to the SEC that fucked us in 2008 and ask them to help us out with Bitcoin. That's a great idea. Why don't we go to drug dealers and ask them how to prescribe us medicine? That's going to be great. See, but that's what's going on. And that's the reality we live in. And people laugh and haha, and go back to work. Oh, this guy is cool with his ideas. But that's the reality. And it's hard to understand. I've been in this since I was 16 years old. I can't help but see the truth. I can't do anything about it. You put me in a room, I'll find the truth. It's just how I see the world. And I refuse to be any other way. So I understand that it can be confronting, but you need to do it at some stage. If not for you, for your kids, what generations are we producing here? Based on fallacy, or do we want some principles in there? Coinbase and Cisco, this is a good story, you'll enjoy it. Coinbase and Cisco came to talk about blockchain and its benefits. All I saw was goat shit, and I'll tell you why. Coinbase product manager came to Rethink in Amsterdam, Rethink Trust. Very nice title. And she stood there and had the audacity to speak about how blockchain, one of the benefits of blockchain is decentralization. And how centralization is so toxic and so dangerous. She spoke about how all these hacks have happened in the world, people's private data. She failed to mention or understand, I don't even know why you put yourself in that situation, that Coinbase is one of the biggest centralized fiat to crypto exchanges on the planet. Why would you even talk about dangers of centralization when you are part of the problem? So I confronted her. She gave me some answers. They're trained to answer these questions. Had nothing to do with the reality. Why not give people the ability to save their private key? A very, very simple thing to do. But no, based on their customer review and the way they've done things, that they decided that wasn't the thing they should do. Okay. That's why goat shit. Cisco. Cisco came to speak about benefits of blockchain. Decentralization, immutability, integrity of your data, accessibility. But they forget these are public blockchain benefits. Private ones, you can cut out the majority of these benefits. Cisco is not selling public blockchains. There's no money in public blockchains for Cisco. They want you to use their privately authored blockchains. So what's wrong with that? Let's look at this. Why do you think Linux is used all over the planet for most devices and applications? It's because it's open source, i.e. it's public. If there's something wrong with this, I can go to the source code, I can reconfigure it, I can patch it without even asking anyone's permission. It's open, I can do that. So therefore it's versatile, therefore it's robust. Anyone on the planet can submit patches and go, hey, there's something wrong with your code here. I found a few bugs. Hey, thanks for sharing that. And that's why it has become such a powerful system. Private blockchains are like Windows. You need whoever authored you that blockchain to come and fix it. If you have issues, you need them to come and fix it. Every day, every second of every day, there's people trying to hack Bitcoin. Of course, it's a multi-billion-dollar system, which makes it anti-fragile. The more you try and break it, the stronger it becomes. It's been running since 2009. What are we now? 2018. 9 years it's been going. What other system do you know produced by a private organization that's been running 9 years without turning off? that itself explains. So do you think a private blockchain will do the same thing? I don't think so. We'll see. It'll be fun to see. Experts are everywhere. Unfortunately, they're not. I spoke to someone the other day, a lawyer, and she said, oh yeah, Bitcoin, it's only used as money laundering. I was like, all right. Apparently the internet's only used as child pornography, if that's the path we're going to go down. But it's not her fault. Who are telling these people this? Who is sharing such information? Is it the media? Is it the workplace? Is it the CEOs? Is it the experts? I don't know. But there's a lot of mismatched information. People are confused. People are scared. People don't know what to do. I don't have answers for them. I've been in this for so long that for me, I can figure it out. But the average person coming in without some fundamental understanding is going to be very confused. I don't have solutions for them. If you know of systems, if you're programmers, if you're hackers, of a system where you can introduce integrity to the information that's available so people can know the truth, please do it. That's the best way to get adoption. Because people are scared right now. They think Bitcoin is just money. They think it's just financial thing. News is saying Bitcoin crash. I haven't seen one news article saying, hey, here's the benefits of blockchains. Here's what Bitcoin is going to change. This is why we need it. I haven't seen one. Have you guys seen one from a major news outlet that's like, blockchain is going to be used for removing intermediaries and the banking system, which has been a fraud. And I haven't seen any of this. So why don't we see this? Why don't we have people educated to know what the real benefits are of dangers of private versus public blockchains? So these are questions that I wonder. And I can't seem to find exact answers before I get into a path which people may call conspiracy theories. Well, that's the state of the world. So, why do we have this beautiful man's photo on this? It's because in 2014, we used to speak at an event, at a location, the first stock exchange in the world, which you can find in Amsterdam near the station. And the room was filled for about maybe 5 people. 4 of them were programmers. 1 was a random guy, very innovative, thinking, trying to learn. And people would come and say, he would be talking about Ethereum. And people would be like, what is Ethereum? This is crazy. This is never going to go anywhere. What are you doing? And I saw his struggle. Because back then, no one believed in any of this. I think they still don't believe it. I think there's just the majority of people are here for the money. But anyways, let's pretend we're all here to change the world. But that was the issue. And Ethereum, not long after, proved itself to be a worthy component. This entire event is now organized by the same person people didn't trust. People were like, hey man, maybe choose a different project. I don't know if Ethereum's going in the right direction. Maybe Bitcoin's the one. And good on him, right? I mean, it speaks for itself. Now I'm at his event. It's pretty cool for me. I got frustrated by what's out there, so I wanted to make my own documentary. I wanted to interview people that have successfully implemented decentralized systems. So I've been talking to people, I've been interviewing people to get the truth. Some inspiring, some not so much. But I will do this. I will finish within a year's time, and I will hopefully release something to the world to show what is actually going on. That it's not just a bunch of bankers. Don't interview them. Let's talk to the real people who have been there, who understood the principles that allowed us to be here. An example is Seeds to Me. I don't know if you understand Seeds to Me. For me, it's an extraordinary example of social capital, of a system that does not function on money. Go see it, go learn about it. It's in Utrecht, it's in Amsterdam, it's in many cities, it's in 28 different countries now. And it doesn't ask money from any venture capitalists, because their concept is not to raise money. It is not for profit. It is not their #1 aim. Their #1 aim is to function a business without money being involved. They get their revenue coming in from the corporates who hire the spaces and use the presentation rooms and the virtual offices or whatever you want to call them. And then they provide that same facility to people who want to use it as co-working spaces, freelancers. While you're there, you meet other people. One guy has a website. He may need help. One guy has a shop, doesn't have a website. One guy needs an app. These entrepreneurs meet and you share your resources. Then you feel indebted to them so much that you go, well, I need to promote seeds to meet. I wouldn't have my business. Isn't that a new way of thinking? Like when you think about this, if I go tell people this in Australia, they're like, oh yeah, mate, you're a very ideology kind of a guy, maybe in 50 years' time, the world doesn't cater for this. He's got it in 28 countries. He's a very successful man. Society 3.0 is a book that he wrote recently. So you can look into these examples. So when you get confused, is Bitcoin going anywhere? Or blockchain and other examples, holochain, whatever it is, are they what we seek? And if you lose faith, just understand that it's not just blockchain. There's a global movement happening where we're going from this closed private system to open systems. And there's a documentary called The Third Industrial Revolution. You can watch this. It's done by Vice. And it's beautiful. It will open your eyes a bit more. It will give you some hope if you get lost. As I do, and I need to see these things to keep going. The sharing economy is growing faster than Facebook and Google and a few others combined. That speaks for itself. Look around you. 10 years ago, sharing a ride with someone, you'd be like, dude, you're going to get murdered, man. What do you mean jumping some random guy's car? But now it's a thing. BlaBlaCar, Airbnb, Uber. But these are still semi-centralized. So we will have better systems. Fraud. The concern is Internet of Things. When they put these estimates, it would be lovely if they said blockchain can solve a lot of these issues. So instead of freaking out all these companies, so they come and, I don't know, pay cybersecurity experts, so to say, to help them, there's no mention of how blockchain can dramatically reduce all these costs. A lot of these issues are due to centralization, are due to the fact that we have systems that's not encrypted, because we need agencies to access that information for anti-money laundering and terrorism reasons. Gamification, what does it mean? If you go back 5 years ago, not even 5, you don't say 2 years ago, before Bitcoin reached 2,000 and everyone suddenly believed in it. If you go back to that, who knew how to trade? I didn't know anything about the stock market. I didn't know how to trade. It was this like very scary thing, right? Now I've got mates trading like it's Pokemon, and they're telling me like, oh, it's the bull month, it's the bull, like the bear month, the bears are coming, It's gamified something that was otherwise only accessible by the privileged or by those who have gone out of their way to learn it. Something that appears very, very complex to the average person. By design, I'm not sure. That you flip through the paper, you see the guy looking at charts, you're like, whoa, he must be like a very smart executive. He's one of those trader people. I wish I knew how to do that. But they've gamified this system with crypto. I've got 16-year-olds trading crypto. That's what's happened. And once you understand crypto, what margin trading is, what longs are, shorts are, how to trade, you suddenly understand, whoa, these people have been making money using these tools all these years, and you see the truth. You know what I mean? So once you participate in the gamification, you understand how much of a joke it's been. Like for me, Dogecoin is beautiful, because people are like, why does it have value? Why does the USD have value? Dogecoin for me, or Dogecoin, I never figured out which one it is. I'm going to need the inventor. But for me, it allows people to understand money is just a joke. You want to put a face of a dog on it? Why not? Let's do it. It's doing pretty well. Probably better than many nations who are in inflation. That's for sure. So gamification allows people to participate and remove this scary vibe from it. Gamification also allows you to take your average tools without doing much and earn some money from it. You got a bunch of hard drives, link it up to storage, link it up to other platforms, and earn some money. That's not very hard. For you, it may be like, oh, well, it's not going to pay that much. But someone in a third world country, or not, you're supposed to use that term. Someone in an underdeveloped country can use this and provide some sort of a income for themselves. You can go on Steam. You know, I was at Steam, not on Steam. I went to Croatia to an event, and there was just so much talk about Steam going on. And I was blown away, like, I was so happy. And I came to the realization, Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies and platforms are islands. Bitcoin was the first one. It's got the airport already built. It's got hotels, it's got car parks, it's building beautiful skyscrapers, it's doing really well. It's got a system, public transport, it's getting there, it's becoming the new Dubai. These other platforms are very early, they're still building the landing strip. So, it doesn't mean that there's one that's going to outdo the other, it's who designs which one. Maybe Steam imagines a different world to Bitcoin, and they will do that accordingly. I met people on there who are artists, who said right now, because of the crash, they don't earn that much, but before it was really great. They would write articles, they would share ideas, and they would be paid for it. So suddenly we have a shift from being a victim to being empowered. Victim means Facebook. I give you all my shit, I don't get anything, and you get to spy on me and sell all my shit. Empowered means I give you my things, but I expect to be rewarded for it. I expect to be a part of your network, not just a sample that you collect information from. And this shift in mentality needs to occur. Like, think about banking, for example. You give them your money, they're going to invest your money, or maybe even lose the freaking money, and you pay them monthly fees. Does that make sense? Would you come and give me your money, and then pay me a monthly fee so I can invest your money? And then I'll tell you, hey man, you can only get it out between this time and these days. By the way, we'll have maintenance, you can't do it. Oh, you want to go overseas, definitely can't let you do that. More than 10,000, you need to come in, bring your ID. Where is it going? I need to know. Maybe you fund some terrorists. Don't worry about what I've been doing with my money and, you know, the organizations and like the cartels I've been funding. Don't ask me the questions. I'm the guy with the money. And that's what's going on. So we need regulation from corrupted organizations. That's a bit worrying. Sharing economy is changing these things, right? So we're going from, as I said, a place of victim or a place of a consumer, a system that purely depends on us to be a consumer, to a system where we share things, whether it's information, whether it's tools, whether it's objects, whether it's products. And it allows you to have a better connection with other people. Take this for example. In rural parts of Africa, this is happening in Argentina, meshing networks are really powerful tools. See, on one hand, people freak out. They say, well, our privacy is being endangered. We have people coming out who want to censor the internet, which is very worrying. But know this, at the same time, like Lord of the Rings, while the dark force is working, there's very beautiful people working on the other side to make sure that bloody ring gets sent down to the volcano. And one of the examples is that we're creating decentralized internet. You can go and learn about this. Decentralized internet means you don't need anyone's permission. It means that I can just come and connect to it. It means that we can create our own private networks. Whereas in Greece, for example, it's 3 times faster than what the internet service providers can even provide. Why? Because it's peer-to-peer. It's a meshing network that doesn't clog up. In rural parts, you can do this. What if you can't afford an internet connection, each person in a village, or in a town, or wherever? What if we all chip in and pay for one, and using these meshing networks, distribute it to our neighborhood? Even if we don't want the internet, why don't we just create our own one, intranet? Why don't we create our network where we share information with our neighbors and colleagues, and that way create a network where we actually know who is there under, not just random people that we just like scroll through like zombies. This is the growth of the sharing economy. You can see it's beautiful. For me, it's beautiful. And this is up to 2015. I should update this at some stage. But, you know, you get the point. It's growing very rapidly. It's one of the biggest economies of Europe at the moment. And it's not by chance, because you just can't compete with it. As storage showed, that's your hard drive, and those are organizations. This is you, and those are governments. This is you, and those are banks. This is Bitcoin, and those are the central banks. So you can see it's worrying, right? I would be worried. Like if I was a bank, I would be like very worried. I would do whatever I could to make sure people don't switch to Bitcoin. Whether it's through regulation, fee, or whatever it is, I would do it. So why not? So then you have to find tools for yourself. I won't play that. So where does it go? I guess the point of it is, it's hard to understand what's going on. And if you can contribute to some truth, please do. And if you don't know something, please research it. There are tools being made every day that allow people to connect better, more securely. If you use a centralized system, see if there's a decentralized version of it. If you don't like it, fair enough, wait until they update it. If you use a closed source operating system, see if there's an open source alternative to it. These are very simple things you can do to opt out. I personally use Photoshop, Illustrator for design purposes. Therefore, I have a need for Windows, despite my deepest desire to abandon it completely. I carry it on a USB stick. When I need to design, I put it in, I do my job, pull it out, back to Linux to go. I was a big Windows fan until I got into crypto, and I changed to Linux, and I was like, wow, Linux is beautiful. Linux treats you like an adult, Windows treats you like a retard. It's the best way I can put it. And that's the reality of it. Apple, a whole other story. And that's it. So you got to think about, do I want control over my own path in life, whether it's an operating system, money, tools, whatever it is, or do I just simply give that power to someone else because I don't believe I am responsible enough to look after my own safety or my own well-being or financial safety? And if you can answer these questions honestly, and if you get to a point where you don't believe you can, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Meet with people at meetups. Ask them, go, I'm scared to hold my own Bitcoin. Don't just say, I'd never do that, I'll just leave it on Coinbase. No. Go meet with someone and ask, hey, can you help me understand how to do it? And I promise you, people who have been in it for a long time would love to show you how to remove your coins from a centralized exchange and give you the power to hold it yourself. Whether your private key is stored on a piece of paper, whether it's stored in an audio file, whether it's stored in a JPEG file hidden inside, there's many, many ways you can do this. But don't just give up, you know, that's all I can ask from you. In this country, it's not that relevant because people believe the government is very noble here, which is fine. That's the story people want to believe, that's fine. But in other parts of the world, they already have come to terms with what happens when things go wrong. And I think Netherlands is pretty good with their money. I don't think the financial crisis that is coming will affect Netherlands as much as everywhere else. But nevertheless, that is what's going on. If you look at before, it was the housing bubble. But now it's student debt that's accumulated. But anyways, I hope you empower yourself. I hope you figure out how to use these tools for the better. I hope that when you go somewhere and someone's talking about ICOs or private ledgers, you make sure they understand its first application, which was money, is a tool that had been in the making or needed for thousands of years. And if they understand that part really well, then they'll understand where else it could be used just as well. Anyways, hope you liked it. If you see goat shit, let them know it's goat shit. It's always good to point it out. If it's not, if it's blockchain applications that are necessary, then praise them and help them. If you don't understand things, ask people. It's very simple. Thank you for listening. Hope you get something out of this. If I offended you, yeah.